Guys, I'm just gonna say it. I believe August is going to be the hottest month for sports card investing that we have seen thus far. Now in this video, I'll show you all the reasons why I believe this, the different trends I'm seeing from the sales I've been making in July, and then piecing that all together with factors going on in sports and in society. Plus, at the end, I will bust out my new toy, Market Movers, and show you the trends that I'm seeing in that data tool and how we can use that to make better investments in August. Welcome back. Now let's get to work. Switched it up on you. Let's dive in. Here is Comp C, and I'm gonna go into my dashboard. And if you notice here, first thing, 35 items are without an asking price. The one thing that sucks about July is that if you look down here, I got a lot of cards that have not yet made it to their system. And I think this would have really affected my July sales, because if you see here, I got 481, 356, all yet. None of them have been processed. Only this little batch of 61 cards have been processed. Cost me 21 bucks, but I've already made that money back in some of my sales. So if I get out of there, I'm gonna start with some purchases, and it goes in line with what you're seeing on the mail days. So I'm not gonna spend too much time here. So I'll show you a bit of each page. I went on a little tangent, even bought some Gary V cards, because I was like, you know what, if there's someone to invest in that's not an athlete in the sports card world, why not get a couple of Gary V cards? Besides that, Drew Brees refractors, Adrian Peterson, and then a couple personal favorites, the Mike Evans and Jameis Winston. This Topps Finest 95, it's like a 95 reprint. I think this is just such a cool set right here, and I could see that becoming a very hot collectible item. A few more Gronks, the same guys that you're seeing elsewhere. When Lashawn Mccoy signed with the Bucks a couple days ago, I said, you know what, might as well get a couple of his refractor rookies, $5 a piece for his refractor Bowman Chrome rookie, and a couple other base ones for $2.50. So for about, I think I put $75 or $100 into Lashawn McCoy. Just a couple headlines with him catching passes from Brady and just doing well in training camp, or just before the beginning of the season. I think that will be fine. And then a couple Odell Beckhams, because I've heard he's selling quite well, and the Browns are supposed to be really good this year. So a couple small things like that, nothing big. But what I want to do is go to the sales history, because if you want to see all my purchases, just watch the mail days. And if we go from the beginning of the month, I sold my Ken Griffey card, one of my favorite cards, because if you look at the front, there's nothing. His face ain't there. There's nothing there. And I just thought that was such a cool card to sell or to have, really, because it's like a mystery. Mike Evans, Magic Johnson. This is a cool card right here with the Converse. And then just Chris Godwin's are selling. Russell Wilson, Steve Nash, first year Prism. I thought it was kind of random, but first year Prism's a thing. So look, I mean, it was $2 profit. Doesn't really matter. Kobe's, Anthony Davis. I was happy to see an Anthony Davis first year Laker jersey card sell. This one right here is interesting, and I paid $210 for this card. There's a pop report, I think, is of only 4. It's numbered to, what's the number to? 20, and there's only 2 or 4, and I only made about 60 bucks off of it. But that boils down to, I didn't want to have all that money tied up into a card I didn't personally love, and so that's why I was happy to sell it for $60. I could have held out and sold it for more, but honestly, you know, sometimes you let it go for a bit of a profit. It's not the end of the world. Mike Evans, Kawhi Leonard, Dwight Howard, first year Prism with the Laker jersey. Hey, he could have a big postseason, but you know, people are looking at whatever else is out there. Michael Porter Jr., Anthony Davis. This was a great one. I paid 10 bucks for this, sold it for 33, got 31 back. Of course, Anthony Davis is the hottest name right now. Even this Nikola Vucevic card, where this is his rookie card, and I remember he's a pretty good player for the Magic. It's just that the Magic suck overall, so, and it's a small market team, so it's not going to really help him, but maybe he goes to a bigger market team and does well there. I thought this was interesting. Levante David, Topps Chrome Camo Refractors rookie card, which obviously that's not going to be for investment sake per se, is probably a collector. But it's a cool card. I got a couple dollars there. And what's weird is that he's not wearing his 54. This is 00. I think it looks ugly because it's 00 rather than his 54. Another Dwight Howard. See my second Dwight Howard first year Prism card sold right there. Russell Wilson again, Tom Brady, and I'm noticing a lot of serial numbered cards here. This is one of the trends I'm picking up on, is the serial numbered cards are really quick to go versus the others, and that could just be because people are viewing that scarcity even higher now than before. And then here's the Kobe Bryant to 199 to 629 on this Tom Brady card. And then there was where's the other card right there? There was something else, the Shaq, up until 149. Only 149 copies of that sold. So bottom line is that's something I'm seeing right now. This Crunch Time James Harden card sold. This came from that box I broke. So did this Brandon Clark autographed, sticker autograph rookie card. So I'm seeing a lot of football. I'm seeing a lot of playoff basketball. And there's another trend I'm going to point out in a bit. I want to see if you get it first. But this was not my best month, and that's because I expected a lot of these cards to be in the system that weren't. You see down here, the due dates is really important. I had the due date of 481 cards 2.5 weeks ago, and that has 0, right? So I could have had 481 more cards in the system. So not the biggest month. But if I go here, this was my one sale on eBay, which is a Rob Gronkowski rookie card. If you remember, I bought 6 of them for $84 a piece in a lot. Sold this one for the highest price, $325, which I thought was really interesting because I know his prices peaked when they were talking about him coming out of the retirement and joining the Bucks. But now, a couple months later, to see that at his high, I thought was really interesting. So going over here, if you look here at my sales, you see that I paid $427.36 cards for the ones that sold. The sale amount was $870.04. CompC takes their commission, so I'm left with $826 minus what I paid, just about $400 profit. Nothing amazing. Obviously, these are mostly raw, low-end cards. And then if you include that Gronk sale, you see a good amount of profit there, which is $604 total for the month. Even more reason as to why I'm scaling up to graded cards. I just want to make sure my thought process is fine ahead of time. And then, that's pretty much it. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go over to Market Movers and show you some of the trends I'm seeing there. Let's take a look at some of the trends. And if you see here in the last 30 days, the players in the NBA that have gone up the most, you can take a look here. Mostly recent players. I see Julius Erving there. I think Larry Bird, there's Larry Bird as the next highest one that has changed in the last 30, but a lot of changes. And I'm going to go to the biggest drops to see who is going down. And if I go to the biggest drops, there's 2 more pages of this. And you see here that there's only a couple players that have gone down, period, while the majority have gone way up. Now, if I go over to baseball, let me see here. Is this baseball? Yeah, baseball here. Look how much has gone down. Look at all these players that have dropped in price compared to basketball, where there was pretty much everyone going up. So obviously with all the COVID cases going on in the MLB season, it looks like a lot of people are worried about that, which to me tells me that could be great opportunity to invest in current players if they actually cancel this. So that will be interesting to see there. Now, if we go to hockey, this is what's exciting as well, is that hockey, a lot has been going up. Most players going up that they're tracking. Obviously, it's a very short list, a couple going down, but I like to see hockey going up because hockey is a sport that interests me, and if it interests others, then they're gonna go over to the card world and do the same thing. And because playoff hockey is perhaps the most exciting of all the playoffs, in my opinion, I feel like that trend is just gonna continue. Now, if we move over to football, this is where it gets really interesting, and this is where I see the #1 trend. All right, take a look at the last 90 days, which players have gone up the most. Kaepernick, Trubisky, Lamar Jackson, Derek Carr, Cam Newton, Patrick Mahomes, Alvin Kamara, Winston, McCaffrey, Deshaun Watson. Okay, let's go up to last 30 days and see if you notice a trend. Lamar Jackson again. Now we have Antonio Brown, Mahomes, Trubisky, Russell Wilson, McCaffrey, Kyler Murray, Ezekiel Elliott, and then in that 10th spot, Alvin Kamara. Okay, have you noticed anything a bit different from the last 30 days to the last 90? If not, let's check the last 7 days. Kamara, Odell Beckham, Kyler Murray, Steve Young, Wilson, Saquon Barkley, Ezekiel Elliott, McCaffrey, Lamar Jackson. And the last spot right there is Chris Godwin. Check him out. More and more non-quarterback positions getting love. That has been the trend over the last 90 days. So when we piece all of this together, here are the trends and the movement that I'm seeing the most. Number one is I see hockey cards going up in value as playoffs return. Obviously, it's in the shadow of all the other sports, but even if it's a smaller market, there's going to be room for that to continue to grow just as other sports are growing. Now, with baseball in so much flux right now, we don't know if it's going to be suspended, if it's going to be canceled, because the more cases that come out, the more it's looking really bad for baseball, and that's being reflected in the data. But that means that investors are going to go elsewhere. So that could mean more money flooding to basketball, more money being flooded to football, more money being flooded to hockey or anywhere else. But that also means good opportunity to buy current baseball players or even Hall of Famers if baseball is canceled or suspended, because all the attention will just dissipate and go somewhere else. Basketball, obviously playoffs is going to be super hot. So what I'm going to be keeping my eye on are retired players like Shaq, Kobe, guys that are eliminated from the playoffs or their teams were never even in the picture. And that's where I really want to see the trends, because the more eyes are on NBA playoffs, the more opportunity there is everywhere else. Now, moving on to football, we know that the NFL preseason has been canceled, which means that all the hype around football can be delayed another month, right? Usually we have a lot of attention, training camp, hype here, preseason, what rookie stood out, which starter is underperforming, where's the QB battle going on? We don't get that much without a preseason. So that means that we have until September, I think 12th or 13th, that we really get some NFL action. And that means that mid-August could be a great time to really sneak in some football investments while everyone else is focused on NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs, and if MLB is still going on. Plus, as we're seeing from the data, there are great opportunities outside of quarterbacks. Fantasy footballers coming over to the card world want to invest in other positions. Football fans like myself who have never done fantasy want to invest in other positions because it makes it more fun. We're seeing that response, and whether they're just short-term or medium-term investments, people want to back other players besides just quarterbacks. The last factor that is really exciting for the month of August is that it looks like we'll be getting a second stimulus check. And without being able to travel and with a lot of cities closing back down or just not opening up fully, sports cards are a natural outlet for people to use their money, whether they want to spend it or invest it. Regardless, that's just a great place. So if we have millions and millions of Americans getting another $1,200 to $3,000 or whatever it's going to be, that could be a lot of cards of yours and of mine being sold for a great profit. That's what I'm seeing. Let me know your thoughts based on what you're seeing in the month of July and your prediction for August in the comments section below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.